So, what is secondary sex characteristic? It is the ability to recognize gender issues and especially the ability to recognize women's different perceptions and other interests arising from their different social location and different gender roles. So, secondary sex characteristic following. Number one, development of the breast. Number two, pubic area within hip rodent. Number three, voice deep slightly. Number four, hair growth under the arms and in the pubic region. Number five, ovary start to function. And number six, regular menstruation. So, secondary sex characteristic for men. So, number one, the body become more muscular. Number two, shoulder and chest become broader. Number three, vocal cords enlarge. And number four, Adam's apple grows. Number five, underarm pubic hair and hair to face, chest, and shoulders start to grow. Number six, penis and testes enlarge. And number seven, testes begin to make sperm. Human reproductive system. The human reproductive system includes the male reproductive system, which functions to produce and deposit sperm, and the female reproductive system, which functions to produce egg cells and to protect and nourish the fetus until birth. Humans have a high level of sexual differentiation. So, male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists a number of sex organs that play a role in the process of human reproduction. So, these organs are located outside of the body, including the pelvis. So, these are the example of the male reproductive system. Okay, so urinary bladder, pubic symphysis, vas deferens, urethra, penis, glans penis, foreskin, scrotum, urethra, seminal vesicle, ureter duct, prostate gland, bulbocular gland, anus, vas deferens, epididymis, and testes. So that is a male reproductive system. So continue now to the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system is made up of the internal and external sex organs that function in the reproduction of new offspring. In human, the female reproductive system is immature at birth and develops to maturity of puberty to produce changes and to carry a fetus to full term. So, ako example diri sa female reproductive system. So, as you can see, female reproductive system is siya, tube, ovary, med, ovarian cervix, endometrium, vagina, cervical canal, those are tube. So, muna siya ang ato ang male and female reproductive system. So, ito tama na akong report. So, thank you for listening everyone.
Sir, good day. This is Buenquist Jano from Group 2, and I'm going to talk about the erogenous zone. So, the erogenous zone is an area of the human body that has heightened sensitivity, the stimulation of which may generate sexual response, such as relaxation, sexual arousal, sexual fantasies, and the orgasm. For me, the sexual fantasies, sexual arousal, and orgasm are the steps on how to make love. So, let's talk about the sexual fantasy. Sexual fantasy is a mental image or pattern of thought that steers a person's sexuality and, and can create or enhance sexual arousal. See, I told you earlier that these three, the sexual fantasy, sexual arousal, and the orgasm, are steps on how to make love. Don't know. For example, me and my girlfriend right here, this one, if we are together, we are close to each other. That's the uh, that's the example of the sexual fantasy. And the sexual arousal is the feeling of being turned or sexuality. When you are turned on, your body experiences physical and emotional changes, like what I said earlier. When you are with your girlfriend or partner, your body will be changed. Like you and your partner are cuddling, so you know what I mean, no? And your your penis and your clitoris may get erect, like it getting hard, no? That's what I know. And you may wellness on you. So the last one is the orgasm. Orgasm is a climax of sexual excitement characterized by feelings of pleasure centered in the genitals and in a man. So this one is for men. Experience is an accompaniment to ejaculation. Like boys, you're so very you do this all the time. The ejaculation. So my main topic for today is the erogenous zone for boys and girls. So first, this is the erogenous zone for the girls. First is the ears, second the lips, the neck, the breast, the butt, inner thighs, vagina, and clitoris. That's for the girls. And for the boys is this one. And for the boys, the number one is the mouth or lips, inner thigh, nape or back of the neck, nipples, this one, the perineum, lower abdomen, ears and buttocks. And I also give an example of unexpected erogenous zone for the both of us. So first the inner rest, the nape of the neck, the buttocks, the scalp, behind the knee, the earlobe.
Good day, everyone. I am John Christian A. Rivera. Today, I'm going to talk understanding the human sexual response. But before we tackle about the human sexual response, let us define first what is a human sexual. Human sexuality. Human sexuality is the way people experience and express themselves sexually. Involves biological, erotic, physical, emotional, social, spiritual feelings, behaviors. Why is it important to understand the human sexuality? It will help us build better relationship with ourselves and others. Why is it important? Because when you understand human sexuality, you can learn to accept the real you and others' sexuality. Then you can respect and build better relationship with yourself and do others. You can avoid discrimination, conflict. The human sexual response cycle is, is a four-stage model of psychological response to sexual stimulation which is ordered of their occurrence are the excitement of plateau, orgasmic, and resolution phase. The psychological response model was first formulated by William H. Masters, Virginia E. Johnson, and their 1966 book Human Sexual Response. Excitement stage. The body prepares for sexual activity by tensing muscles and increasing heart rate and blood pressure. In the male, blood flows into penis, causing in the become interact in the female. The vaginal walls become moist, the inner part of the vagina becomes wider, and the clitoris enlarged. Plateau stage. Breathing comes more rapid and the muscle continue to tense. The glands at the head of the penis swells as red the testes enlarge in the male. In the female, the outer vagina contracts and the clitoris retract. The organism. The neuromuscular tension built up in the preceding stage, it released in a few seconds. In the woman, the vagina begins a series of regular contractions of the man. The penis also contracts rhythmically to expel the sperm and semen. The resolution brings a gradually return to that resting state that may take several hours. In the male, the penis shrinks back to its normal size. In the female, the vaginal and other genital structure also return to their pre-excitement condition. The resolution stage in men contains a refractory period of several minutes to a few hours during which the man is incapable of further sexual. Women have no such refractory period and can gradually become aroused again from any point in the resolution stage.
Hi, good day. My name is Michael Pinaflor Luna, and I will present the basic biology of sexual behavior. Basic biology of sexual behavior. The biology of human sexuality includes the reproductive system and the sexual response cycle, as well as the factors that affect them. What is sexual behavior? Sexual behavior refers to a broad spectrum of behaviors in which humans display their sexuality. These behavioral expressions contains both biological elements and cultural influences and involve sexual arousal, which is psychological changes, both pronounced and subtle, in the aroused person. Learning objective characterize the fourth stage of human sexual response cycle. How is sexual development related to human behavior? Studying the biological aspect of sexual development and human behavior gives light to understanding sex related psychological disorders. How does biology affect the human sexual response? Biology can influence sexual response through the human sexual response, sexual differentiation, as well as sex hormones. How is sexual behavior controlled by nervous system? Sexual responses are controlled by a complex and coordinated interplay of both the somatic and the automatic nervous system and multiple components of the brain, spinal cord, and relevant peripheral organs. Key points. The biological aspects of human sexuality includes the reproductive system, the sexual response cycle, and the neurological and hormonal factors that affect these processes. Females have both external genitalia, known as the vulva, and the external reproductive organs including the ovaries, uterus, fallopian tube, and vagina. Males also have both internal and external genitalia, and the main sex organs are the penis and testicles. The sexual response cycle is a model that describes the psychological responses that place during sexual activity. The hypothalamus is the most important part of the brain for sexual functioning. It produces important sexual hormones that are secreted by the pituitary gland. Six hormones that influence sexual behavior include oxytocin, prolactin, vasopressin, follicle stimulating hormone (FSH), and luteinizing hormone. Others include testosterone in males and estrogen and progesterone in females. Terms: limbic system, part of the human brain involved in emotion, motivation, and emotional association with memory. Libido, a person's overall sexual drive or desire for sexual activity. Hormone, any substance produced by one tissue and conveyed by the bloodstream to another to affect psychological activity. The biological aspect of human sexuality include the reproductive system, the sexual response cycle, and the neurological and hormonal factors that affect these processes. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Luigi Rivera, and today I'm gonna discuss about understanding the chemistry of lust love attachment. The chemistry of lust love attachment, it is the passionate romantic love and comes in graded forms. Though there are overlaps and subtle ties to each, and each type is characterized by its own set hormones. This is the last is testosterone, estrogen, and the attraction is dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. And the last is attachment, oxytocin, and vasopressin. There are two differences of lust and love. The love, it is an intense feelings of affection towards another person. It's a profound and caring attraction that forms emotional attachment. And the last, it is the strong desire of sexual nature that is based on physical attraction. Lust can transform into deep romantic love, but it usually takes time. And love can be distilled into three categories, which is the lust, attraction, and attachment. Beneath the plastic, this is a series of complex chemical reaction taking place between the brain and body. There are three stage level. The stage 1 is the lust, stage 2 is the attraction, and the last is the stage 3 attachment. The first stage is lust. The first stage of love and is driven by the sex hormones testosterone and estrogen in both men and women. And stage 2 is the attraction. This is the amazing time when you truly love struck and can think of little else, and there are three main neurotransmitters are involved in this stage, such as the dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin. And the last stage is the attachment. This is the passion for each other turns into attachment towards your significant other, and it is associated in the brain primarily with neuropeptides, the oxytocin, vasopressin. And that's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone. Today I'm going to talk about sexual transmitted disease, also known as STD. So let's start. So what is STD? So let's find out. Sexual transmitted disease, or STDs, are infections that are passed from one person to another through sexual contact. The contact is usually vaginal, oral, and anal sex, but sometimes they can spread through other intimate physical contact. An STD may also be called a sexual transmitted infection, or STI, and venereal disease, or VD. Doesn't mean sex is the only way STDs are transmitted. Depending on specific STD, Infections may also be transmitted through sharing needles and breastfeeding. It is possible to contract an STD without developing symptoms, but some STDs cause obvious symptoms. In men, common symptoms include pain or discomfort during sex or urination. So you have the pain you feel down there during sex and during urination, sores, bumps or rashes on around the penis, testicles, anus, buttocks, thighs or mouth. So there are some rashes like small bubbles like that, and inside the small bubbles there are just like water, but there are viruses or bacteria. Unusual discharge or bleeding from the penis. So there are some blood or what do you call that inside penis, and painful or swollen testicles. So it is painful to your testicles and it's swollen, it's getting big, getting red like that. Common STD symptoms in women include pain or discomfort during sex or urination, just like what I've said earlier. Sores, bumps, or rashes on around the vagina, anus, buttocks, thighs, or mouth. Unusual discharge of bleeding from the vagina, and itchiness in around the vagina. So there are different types of STDs. First, we have HPV, also known as human papillomavirus. Second is the chlamydia. Third, gonorrhea. Fourth, syphilis. Fifth, herpes. Sixth is trichomoniasis. And last is HIV or AIDS.
The most dangerous viral STD is human immunodeficiency virus, also known as HIV, which leads to AIDS. And other incurable viral STDs includes human papilloma virus or HPV, hepatitis B, and genital herpes.
The only cure for sexual transmitted disease is antibiotics. You may need up to 2 weeks for an antibiotic to fully clear the infection and stop seeing symptoms. Antibiotics may not work if you don't take the entire prescribed dose. This can also cause the infectious bacteria to become resistant to medication, making them harder to treat. So the only cure or the only thing that can ease the pain of STD is antibiotics, and you may need up to 2 weeks to fully clear the infections or stop seeing symptoms. So antibiotics won't work if you don't take the entire prescribed dose. If you don't take the prescribed dose, it can also cause the infectious bacteria to become resistant to medication. So it is hard to treat if you don't take the entire prescribed dose.
Good day everyone, my name is Joshua C. Ramirez and I'm here to talk about what is the diversity of sexual behavior. What is the diversity of sexual behavior? It is refers to all the diversities of sex characteristics, sexual orientation, and gender identities without the need to specify each of identities, behaviors, and characteristics. Ito daw ay tumutukoy sa lahat ng pagkakaiba-iba ng katangian ng kasarian ng mga tao. An adolescence is not only a time of physical changes, it is also the period of increased sexual behavior such as preoccupation with sexual curiosity, fantasies, masturbation, and sexual experimentation. Human sexual behavior is inactivity, solitary, by pair, or by group, which includes sexual arousal. It can be classified according to the gender and the number of participants. And not all sexual arousal could lead to the sexual activity. Humans are constantly exposed to sexual stimuli when seeing attractive person or seeing advertisement with sexual themes through the mass media. Under the diversity of sexual behavior, are sociosexual behavior and solitary behavior. Wherein sociosexual behavior is sexual behavior involving more than one person. Dito naman ay pwede ka magkagusto sa lalaki kung ikaw ay lalaki din. Kung sa babae din. Generally, where male to female and male to male and female to female. While solitary behavior is self-masturbation or self-stimulation with the intention of causing sexual arousal, a feeling of pleasure and often result in orgasms. First, what is sexual arousal? Isa arousal of sexual desire during or in anticipation of sexual activity. Solitary behavior, it involves only one individual, which is commonly done in private by males and also females at the beginning of adolescent period. And it was explained that there are therapeutic benefits to health in self-stimulation. Aside from producing sexual pleasure, it may relieve stress and lower blood pressure. And it improves man's fertility because ejaculation flushes out the old, and it also lowers a man's chance of getting prostate cancer. And let's move on to sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is unromantic or sexual attraction to a person of opposite sex or gender, and the person of same sex or gender, or the person both sexes or more than one gender. And these are the types of sexual orientation. First, homosexual. Homosexual refers to a person whose sexual orientation is toward another of the same sex. And homosexual refers a romantic attraction between the same sex or gender. Na kapag ikaw ay lalaki, na-attract ka or nagkakagusto ka sa lalaki, at kung ikaw naman ay babae, na-attract ka din sa babae. Example for this is lesbian. Lesbian is a term used to describe a woman whose sexual and romantic attraction is toward women. And gay is a man whose sexual and romantic attraction is toward the other man. Second is heterosexual. Heterosexual is a person whose sexual orientation is toward other of opposite sex. Heterosexual refers to a romantic attraction between person of the opposite sex or gender. Na kapag ikaw ay lalaki, ay nagkakagusto ka lang sa babae. At kung ikaw ay babae, ay nagkakagusto ka lang din sa lalaki. And someone who is heterosexual is commonly called a straight. And the third is bisexual. Bisexual is a person who may be sexually oriented to both men and women. Ito yung mga taong may feeling or na-attract towards both men and women. And the fourth is pansexual. Pansexual is a new sexual orientation of persons who are sexually attracted to people regardless of their sex or gender identity. Pansexual means that you are attracted to people of all genders. Many pansexual people describes themselves as being attracted to people based on personalities, not gender. Pan is a Greek word for all or very or every, thus may wise be called gender blind. And lastly is transgender. Transgender refers to a broad spectrum of individuals who transiently or persistently identify with a gender different from their natal gender. And transgender people whose gender identity is the opposite of their assigned sex. Transgender people express their gender identities in many different ways. And transgender are people feel that the sex they were assigned at birth doesn't match their gender identity or the gender that they feel are inside.
Hi guys, my name is Kim Jilo Pitogo. I will discuss you the methods of contraception, natural and artificial. So first I will discuss the natural methods. So natural family planning. The natural family planning methods do not include any chemical or foreign body introduction into the human body. Most people who are very conscious of their religious beliefs are more inclined to use the natural way of birth control. So, natural family planning. So, it says in natural way. So, we don't have to put some chemicals to our body for birth control. And it also teach or taught by George the natural way of birth control, uh, and somewhat to use natural methods because it is more cost effective. So it doesn't need um, big money to doesn't need money to what we call birth control, to have some birth control, or what we call artificial birth control, because there are many many natural methods in birth control. Um, so these are the natural methods. There are 7 methods. First, the abstinence calendar method, basal body temperature or BBT, cervical mucus method, symptothermal method, ovulation detection, coitus interruptus. So, in these methods, I will just discuss 3 of them because there are too many. So I will just explain 3 methods of these natural methods. So let's start. Abstinence. This natural method involves abstaining from sexual intercourse and is the most effective natural birth control method with ideally zero fail rate. So you don't have to sexual intercourse. So that is the meaning of abstinence. The word absent. So it is also the most effective way to avoid STI, sexually transmitted infection, because you don't have to to do sexual activity. However, most people find it difficult to comply with abstinence, so only a few of them use this method. So next is calendar method, also called as the rhythm method. This natural method of family planning involves refraining from coitus during the days that the woman is fertile. According to the menstrual cycle, 3 or 4 days before and 3 or 4 days after ovulation, the woman is likely to conceive. The process is calculating for the woman's safe days as achieved when the woman records her menstrual cycle for 6 months. So it has an ideal fill rate of 5%, but when use it has a typically fail rate of 25%. So this is the example of the calendar rhythm method. So as you can see, this is the menstruation days: 1 2 4 days, 1 2 3 4, and 5 6. So as you can see, the green color or the green area is safe low risk days, or what we call safe days. So in this area, 8 and 9 days, these days may unsafe if 28-day cycle varies as much as 8 to 9 days between shortest and longest cycles. So this is unsafe. So this area 10 and 11 is lowest days. Intercourse on these days may live outlive live sperm to fertilize egg. So it has a possibility that the women get pregnant. So unsafe days. So this area is unsafe days, and 14 is the ovulation. So it releases egg. So in 17, egg may still be present. So it also have a chance to get pregnant. So it is unsafe. So this is the example of the calendar method. Um, you will just know you must know the menstrual cycle of women. So next is basal body temperature. The basal body temperature is the woman temperature at rest. BBT falls at 0.5 degrees Fahrenheit before the day of ovulation, and during ovulation it rises to a full degree because of progesterone, and maintains its level throughout the menstrual cycle. And this is the basis for the method. The the woman must take her temperature early every morning before any activity, and if she notices that there is slight decreases and then increase the temperature, this is a sign that she has ovulated. So basal body temperature is more likely recording her temperature to base that she is fertile or unfertile. So the BBT method has an ideal fill rate of 9% and has a typically used fill rate of 25%. So these are the example of BBT. So as you can see, this is the temperature, body temperature, base body temperature. So this is the days. So in day 1, her temperature is normal, and day 2 is increases. So as so it we we as you can see, it is all normal, but it says that before or during the ovulation releases eggs, the the temperature of woman is slightly decreases. So as you can see, it decreases in 14 day. So when it rises, so as you can see, it rises or increases the temperature, body temperature. It means that her menstrual is coming or nearly coming, the menstrual period of the woman. So next is artificial methods. There are so many artificial methods. We have oral contraceptives, transdermal patch, vaginal ring, subdermal implants, hormonal injection, intraperitoneal uterine device, chemical barriers, diaphragm, cervical cup, male condoms, female condoms. So these are the artificial methods. What we call putting some chemical to body. So this is the birth control, artificial birth control. So